Holiday Blues. Nuts and oranges and spices? He asked as he surveyed the table, groaning under the weight of various food items and condiments. Sure, she said airily, as if the choice didn't matter to her, as long as it's not a repeat of last time. He grimaced slightly and stared off into the flames of the fireplace, popping and burning merrily next to the table. Last time there'd been a mix-up. Sure, he'd meant to summon only an imp, a lesser being from one of the lower planes. He'd been lucky to be prepared for what actually happened, given that he used meat accidentally instead of the cinnamon he'd thought it was. Summoning a demon lord usually meant that the wizard involved became an after-dinner snack for the summoned creature. For some reason, though, Azizorath thought his abject terror was hilarious, and muttering only a muffled curse which still hadn't taken effect as far as he knew, the demon lord disappeared in a puff of brimstone. He selected some cashews, some walnuts, a couple of mandarin oranges, and very carefully testing it to make sure it was cloves, ground cloves, and a stick of peppermint candy. He used the fireplace poker to pull out the steaming cauldron, bubbling merrily on a pivoted arm hanging over the fire, dumped the ingredients into the cauldron, and swung it back over the flames. How long does it take? He asked her, stirring the pot with the big wooden spoon stuck in the broth. Oh, not long at all. You didn't use walnuts, though, did you? Yes, why? Oh, I should have mentioned. He hates walnuts. She broke off and stared past him. He whirled around and stood aghast, staring at the large pentagram drawn on the floor and what had just appeared in it. It was a large white enameled cast-iron clawfoot bathtub of the antique variety. Steam rose up from the water in it. Sitting in the tub was a very large, hairy, older man, white hair cascading down his back and the equally white beard not quite covering the white mat of hairy fur on his chest. A long-handled bath brush in one hand was slightly raised, poised as if the translocation had caught the holder in the middle of scrubbing his back. The normal description of his eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, did not seem to fit the owner of such organic appurtenances in the moment. They looked more thunderous, as if Zeus himself had somehow managed to infuse the beholder with righteous indignation and fury. As the man started to rise out of the tub like an indignant iceberg, water steaming from the huge body like a vast waterfall tumbling off the edge of a grand cliff, he reflected that a demon lord's curse sometimes took weird forms, and for him, at least, this was probably not going to be a very fun Christmas Eve.